DAO governance of the things, and to promote this as a metaverse, a portal between our metaverse, because I think the alien world has this particularity with the councilors, the planetary councilors. That's something comparable like the chief hidden delegate board member that are elected. We elect them, then they manage the funds. On alien world, the planetary councilors, they allocate the trillium, and then they have also other leadership function, and that will come. So alien world is not just a stuff on the metaverse side and gaming side. That's very related also with the mindset of the governance, and to promote that intelligently, Hidden Fractal will be this communication platform, onboarding, marketing, and help not only the Eden, not only help Eden itself, the Eden members, and also EOS in general, but also the other circuits. That's what I have think those last days, and yeah, I am very in favor of the voting of Duane on the Go Fractally. Yes, but three possibility, and it seems to be that the power a portal between our metaverse community and Fractal is the best compromise to just I would tell you that, guys.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I agree. Coneman.
Hey everyone. One thing I had the idea of when it comes to providing people with the incentive to keep on participating is the creation of community-based software to both empower the community, the metaverse, mining, and incentivizing that first step in governance. Because before the DAO systems come online in alien worlds, there's nothing stopping you pushing that forward first and basically allowing people to know that you're integral and you have the integrity to bring products to life, which will help with future proposals.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, and I'd like to roll that into to this group. I think maybe a few of you met Jordan on our first call, and Jordan runs a makerspace, so he got kind of busy with a really big, important job. But in the first quarter, we started funding a drop tool. We've been using EOS USA's drop tool, and it has limited functionality. So that's definitely something that I'd like to kind of get back on track. And some of the discussion for people that just joined was the you know, right now we have a lot of DAO and DAC specialists in here, not as many, you know, we're not drawing in a lot of new alien worlds people, and we want to keep it relevant so that we all stay involved. And I think we see, you know, the opportunity in trying this new fractally, you know, process. The also opportunity knowing that the only tokens that will be minted on that new blockchain are from this participation. So just being part of this group, we kind of have our hat on in the ring to be part of that, you know, initial distribution on Fractally. And you know, Eric's been working in the metaverse space and kind of has a vision of how we, you know, would use this to bring other games. I'm not sure if you saw some of the tweets from Evil Rose, but just the whole GameFi space of how big this is really going to be. And Mark just kind of, you know, explained before some of you came on is how do you branch out to your local communities and make this work? And I really hope that, you know, we can be the ambassadors and find, you know, how this works in our communities. And I just want to acknowledge that just even a small group of this size is really powerful. I've been on this week a couple other DAC calls, and they're less than 1% of people that care about the governance, yet they've made their whole platform and their whole treasury into a DAC. So there are a lot of people out there that have positioned themselves to give assets and give a voice to the community. And I just know that, we've always been a little ahead of the curve. And I just know that this is going to be a bigger issue, especially with the market conditions and all these games. And hopefully the games allow us to play in these virtual worlds, and we can bring this back to our real communities. Because I'm really passionate, I'm sure everyone here knows, about that this is a way that we can restructure the world. This is the way we can have a voice and feel like we have some say in the future of our planet. And hopefully that comes back down to our local groups. But I just know that a small group of us can make a lot of changes, and I just appreciate you guys being here. And with that sentiment, seeing that most of us, there's a bit of overlap of active, really active people in alien worlds, and out of this group, that would be David Coneman and David Harris. And for our exercise today, I don't want to lose your interest in just trying to figure out, oh, hey, you're valuable because you're here, right? But I think if the longer goal here would be, how do we bridge, I guess the goal would be bringing more people in from alien worlds, and even have that be, what have you done for governance in alien worlds, and slowly take people down that path of how they're voting, and to use this forum so that the leaders that are going for these powerful positions can empower their communities by showing them they're making transparent decisions. So in saying that, I know David has a hard stop. I don't want to take too much time in the intro. I think we kind of all know how the process works, but I'll take two more questions. And I really felt that the discussion and getting to know each other was really important. So I don't want to rush anything, but I would like to say maybe in this one is, how about the topic of today of consensus of what you've contributed is under the veil of governance. I don't know. We don't have to, I'll take some questions. Marco. Oh, you're on mute. Oh, we still can't hear you, Marco.
How about now? All right. Changes made by a few, only a small percentage of the population can read. Very few go to universities, get to go to universities. The internet changed some of that. MMOs and gaming shift that paradigm, that changes made by a few, because gamings are active, metaverses are active. Just like all the world knows to read now, because we have the internet, smartphones are everywhere. That's what's going to happen here. Everybody's going to be a small business. And the way Amazon took over the world, we can see gaming take over the world, because quite simple. Gamers are ahead of the curve. In every game, there's an economy, and that economy is being exchanged. The value of digital assets is not understood by anybody, and it's understood by every gamer. It's such a grand canyon of divide that all we need to do is free these people through crypto to take ownership of their own digital assets. For those people who are not dedicated tech guys, they're tech by default to connect to their games. They don't want to be. They shouldn't, because artists, that's not what their thing is. Okay? Gaming is creative, considered art across the board. So yeah, when change is impacted by everybody, the way everybody now knows how to read, that's a different world. So.
Yeah, I agree. Well said. Komen, did you have another question?
No, sorry. How do I put my hand down?
Click on reactions again, lower hand.
Thank you.
Well, excellent. I see David doesn't have a hard stop, so that makes it quite a bit funner for us to spend some time in in doing the intros, and maybe just to bring out the passion. Maybe it's, you know, we've been in groups before, so I think we've all met each other at least once, maybe Marco not, but maybe it's, you know, what is your passion, and what is your passion to governance, and what have you done? And you know, the coming to consensus is what we're gamifying and rewarding. I did send out, and I'll talk a little bit more about it after our breakout, but just before on the wire, I was able to send out NFTs for everyone that participated last week. And it was my first time, so I think we'll change up the NFTs for these next rounds. But we'll kind of go over that. These were pretty special in a way that they were the first tokens that I know of in Wax that were backed both by Trillium and by Crown. So really thanks, big shout out to the back-end developer that worked with me really late last night, and walked me through the process, and was able to put something up really quick for me to back, you know, the NFTs last week with both Crown and Trillium. So that's kind of exciting. We'll maybe be able to go into how you validate that, because it's a new tool. I don't think the current GUIs like Atomic or Nefty blocks will show that it's backed, but I can show you transactions and stuff like that. So yeah. Hey Dan, we were just going over the quick introduction, saying that, you know, a lot of us have you know, experience in governance, and that's why we're all here. And maybe the format we refine a little bit for today's meeting is for the introductions in your group, you know, explain what you're passionate about and your passions in governance. And for our process of coming to consensus is, you know, putting levels on the contributions to governance in this last week or in general. And I just really think that would be a kind of a nice bio and a nice video to look back on is why are these, you know, governance, you know, gurus and experts, you know, coming to this space. And Marco just really had a, you know, reminded us of how the gamers and digital assets are leading the way in this new, you know, blockchain revolution. And the reason we're here is, you know, right in front of us. So with that, maybe I'll break everyone out unless there's any other questions or suggestions on today, or even some suggestions on what's worked for everybody in the consensus. Or yeah, I see Jason's.
You know me, I've always got a comment. I wanted to first compliment Patrick's glasses, his poker glasses. You had him up for a minute there. I thought that was good. And on the same note, I wanted to say to Mark, if you're using glasses while you've got something sensitive on the screen, it's actually a security, this is mind-boggling, but it's a security vulnerability to be recorded while wearing glasses, because you can actually like detect the screen from the video of the glasses. And it's
hey, thank
intense,
you so much. I'll start thinking about it. I don't, is there a solution?
Not quite that I know. I don't know actually, but I've heard that is a thing, but it's only if you have something sensitive on screen. Like if you're just reading something on screen, then nothing there, you know. So you wouldn't record yourself.
You can spoof it, but that's probably more a tech solution. But you know, once you do that, spoof something else, some other lights on there coming at it.
I wonder if those
filter.
Yeah, I was going to
So
say
you could-
filter. I wonder if those screens they have on banking monitors so you can't see them from the side would do anything. I don't know.
I will just have to all switch to virtual glasses.
Perfect.
I noticed the reflection, and so it just was on my mind. But I wanted to say that the biggest advantage for any organization is a sound methodology for decision making, and that one of the most important things about leadership is the ability to form consensus. And so we've got this sort of paradoxical situation with our desires as humans to have autonomy and have a finger on the steering wheel in a way to like shape shape my circumstance and society to my what I see fit. But I also expect good leadership to be out there. I expect there to be options of good leaders for me to follow. Then there has to be that. And so I think that the majority of the normal curve for people is looking for good leadership, and that they're not interested quite in the nitty-gritty of decision making. It's like they have this idea, like, you know how sometimes you think you want something, but then when you get it, it doesn't really scratch the itch. Decision making is exactly like that. People think that, yeah, I want to weigh in on that decision. Oh wait, oh fuck, that's a steep learning curve. I don't really understand this decision, actually. And their eyes glaze over as soon as they do the first bit of paperwork. Actually, right? But I have some experience rallying up a homeowners association to do work together, to pull weeds, an invasive species weed, every autumn. And it was a slow adoption curve, but the curve gets steep once it hits an inflection point on popularity, when natural leadership emerges. There's sort of order that emerges out of chaos in the form of natural leadership, and then it becomes easier and faster after that.
Yeah, totally.
So that's a comment I wanted to make.
That's interesting thought. After all these meetups, Fractal stand-up meeting of the Saturday, the Genesis one, the hidden fractal, the alien world fractal, now being there into all this kind of fractal, something emerge. We are focused on the ideas, on the information, the data, and we want to turn that into knowledge. So be focused only on the people is not the point. Very the information they brought up. And if they look with glasses or with an albator hat or with something else, if they are good mindset, good intent, and they deliver good action, the appearance doesn't matter a lot. But at a point, if it's sure, if you want to have a good recording, something very professional, you have to show you as human. We are human here. We are not bot. So, but at the same time, some people doesn't want to have their face looked on a video. They prefer to stay anonymous with their face, but not anonymous with their thought, with their information, and that is it's good, I think.
Yeah.
I would just like to ask quickly, as far as logistically, will we be having the breakout rooms for 30 minutes until the top of the hour, or will it be longer? And then also, I want to make sure I understood you correctly. Sorry, I was late before, but we're going to be focusing more on like general goals with governance, more so than specifically alien worlds. Is that correct?
Yeah, the what ties us together is governance, and yeah, why you're passionate and what you've done. And by all means, if you're active in alien worlds, we'd like to hear that. But I think the consensus today is, what have you done for governance? And I don't want to leave out, that alien worlds. I'd hate to have new alien worlds people come in and go, oh, I'm so active in alien worlds, but not governance. But I think that's where we're kind of, leading everyone. So yeah, and then the timing, I think everyone, if everyone's available, it seems like David's available a little bit later. I really appreciate us having enough time to express our passions in general and passions in governance. So it looks like there's 5 or 6 people per room. If we keep that introduction to about 4 minutes, let's do 20 minutes for introductions. And I don't like rushing that the consensus either. So if everyone's into it, maybe we have an extra, like a total of 45 minutes for this next, for the breakout rooms, and come back at 15 minutes past the hour, if that works for everybody. Does that sound like enough time? Because I know our consensus even ran over 20 minutes, so we can even go to 20 past. I know everyone's time is very precious, but I in the sake of having a quality meeting, we can do 20 past.
It's a new fractal, so I think we can get it done pretty quick.
Okay, perfect. Well, then it's quarter after. I'll send kind of a 1 or 2 minute notice to get back to the main room. One thing I said I'm going to try and figure out was the recording for breakout rooms, and I didn't. Yeah, anybody that's done breakout rooms, am I just missing the share recording, or is there something I can do on my end to make sure you guys have recording options?
I can double check that once we're actually into a breakout room.
Okay.
Because if you've changed any settings from the last time, it might have now taken effect. But we can't really check that unless we're in one. And I think if we are in one and I can't record, I'll send you a message, and hopefully it's as simple as going to the security settings in your bottom bar and allowing recording.
Okay, let me just do that right now because I did not change anything. So before we go, allow participants to share chat, start video. Yeah, it doesn't give me the record option. I'll just check one more setting, maybe video settings here. Yeah, because it'd be really nice if we all had recording options here.
I'll make a mention here that my Zoom app opens through Mighty Networks. So I've got the Mighty Networks app, and when I click to join the meeting, I'm actually not logged in anymore. It's just, it works funny like that because my Zoom app on my phone, I'm logged in with, but when I join this call, I'm not logged in for some reason.
Yeah, I noticed that my little Zoom apps, which has a nice timer, by the way, for those that don't know, you can go into apps and load a timer. Really cool, free. So if you go into apps and search for timer, you can just do a timer to time these things in the background. But yeah, I came in through Mighty Networks too, and there's no Zoom apps in my control bar. I don't know if I've never seen that before, so I don't know if that's unique because I came in. I hadn't even thought of going, where'd my Zoom apps go? Because I thought, oh yeah, the timer would be really handy for the breakout rooms, but I don't know. Do you guys have Zoom apps in your bottom control panel?
I do, but it might be just because I'm the host. I will.
Anybody else?
I do.
Nope.
I do have Zoom apps, and I do have a subscription to Zoom. So
Yeah,
I have the apps.
So do I. So it must be that I'm not logged in because I came in through Mighty Networks and not.
Yeah.
That must be it. Okay. So no timer for me this time.
And I came in through Mighty Networks as well.
Oh, you
so
did.
I have the apps, I have the subscription, and I came in through Mighty Networks.
Yeah, Mark is rich.
Subscription came through Mighty Networks, but no Zoom apps in my control panel.
Yeah. What browser are you on?
Forget where I might have come in through Brave this time. Actually, no, I came in through Mighty Networks app on my phone and then transferred from my phone to my computer because I was in the other room trying to figure out how to get this meeting, and it isn't our normal. It was new, so it caught me off guard. So I had a couple minute delay while I figured out, oh, we're in a different place.
I think that's it might be a phone thing versus a laptop or desktop thing.
I've done the phone thing though, tons of back and forth between iPad and phone, and it's always works seamlessly, and I've always had the app. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I just saw Dwayne's notice message on Mighty Networks and clicked on that. And it brought it up on my phone, and then I transferred from my phone to my computer.
Well, I had no luck in the settings seeing where I can share that that recording, unfortunately. I will kind of just post the normal normal meeting link in that Mighty Networks. So maybe that'll help, you know, just being able to have all our options. And then yeah, I'll seek out some help this next week. I know if someone has OBS, you can record on top, but there's, you know, I know other people, you know, have been able to record in breakout rooms, so we'll figure that out for next week.
Have you tried to click on our thumbnail? Right click on the bottom of on the top of our thumbnail. There is allow to save recording on local machine.
You nailed it. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad.
And you do that for each of us. You click on each thumbnail and you allow to record.
Okay.
I see that you have allowed me to record. Thank you. So you do that for each of us and it is solved. And we don't speak more about that. That's behind.
I'm glad we went through the process though. Thank you so much.
If you need some help, Nova Crypto is always here.
I appreciate that, Patrick. And
until I die.
Aro is here and I appreciate it.
Yeah, I will solve the Saturday election if something is breaking, I think.
All right. If you don't have record abilities, it just didn't allow me to give you those. So it might have been, you know, the way you've logged in. But as long when you get into your room, as long as one person's recording, that would be awesome. Great. Well, let's go to 20 past since we had some, you know, our technical, you know, challenges here. Great. Is everyone ready?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. I'll see you guys back here in 40 minutes.
Mark, Dan, and Dwayne, we already have our rank set because we see each other every meeting. So I think it's up to Eric and Coleman. They should take the whole thing. I think we should be quiet. Let them both do it all.
I think you just, Marco, I think you just, you know, nominate yourself to go first on telling us your passions.
No, I want to be too long. I can take this back. No, I can take this back, and I will take it back to the Atari motherboard.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So I go last, unless I'm going to take up all the time.
I know. I'll put a timer on. I'll give you a kind of a heads up when we're at about 4 minutes. You've got me intrigued now.
You guys go first. I can totally dominate this. I can really go back. I love to. I'll pass it off to the youngest one. I think it's Dan. That's where I'm feasting nowadays on my nieces, nephews, and what young people think of a world without internet and a world that expects player-ready one.
Okay, it sounds good. So should I go first, or does anybody else prefer to go first?
Just remind everybody to put in their wallet ID on their name.
Oh, is this Wax Wallet?
Correct.
Yes.
You bet.
That's fine.
Okay, so should I go? Okay, cool. Sounds good. So I just put together like a couple brief visuals to help guide, because this is a huge topic, obviously, and I hadn't had much time to think about it. And also I just noticed that my headphones just get noticed that they're gonna die soon, so hopefully they won't die. Yep, so I'm really excited about Alien Worlds and I've been exploring it a lot, but I'll focus this to talk more on the governance passion and stuff like that, as Dwayne was saying. And I'm also starting a timer as well, so I can remember not to go too long. Yep. So I think everybody's familiar with me here except for Cone Man. So it's nice to meet you, Cone Man. Here, I saw you had a cool eye on your face before. So and I've heard about you doing some good work with Alien World. So nice to meet you. I'm Dan Singjoy, and lots of details on my website, dansingjoy.com, where it just provides an overview. I'm super excited about governance and cooperating and fractally and so forth. There's just a bunch of projects. I also do like music and stuff like that, and I'm really into EOS community and fractals and stuff like that. So lots of exciting stuff there, and I feel like it all really ties in a lot with governance, because I feel like governance and what we're doing with fractal cooperation and what Dwayne set up with this group empowers all sorts of really really helpful things in terms of like making the world a better place and making it more enjoyable and better in every way, and then also enabling communities to cooperate on things that are really fun, like games like Alien Worlds and music and all sorts of things like that. So yeah, I'm super inspired, and I spend most of my time, like as much time as I can, just trying to help with fractal governance, because I think it's such a key. I'm building an organization called Eden Creators, and there's a website, edencreators.com, where I share a lot of this and build some art around it. Basically, the goal is to create amazing content to help everyone cooperate fractally and make the best experience possible. And then there's lots more art. Please let me know if my audio cuts out at any point. And then, yeah, there's lots of cool fractally imagery and stuff like that. And then I'm also working on helping to build a lot of fractals. So I was thrilled when Dwayne started to build this fractal with Alien Worlds. I think it's awesome. And I've been working to build many fractals as well for, I don't know, the past year or past 2 or whatever, since I learned about this new way of governing. And so there's a whole bunch of like brands that I'm building in the background. And I showed one brief on the website here with PlayTube is Global and all sorts of fun different things for music and whatnot. And one that I've been focusing on a lot that I've been playing a big role in helping to start over the past few weeks is Eden Fractal. So there's edenfractal.com. You can check it out. I think everybody's familiar here except for maybe Cone Man. I'm not sure if Eric checked it out at all yet. But we have these fractal meetings every Wednesday at 13 UTC. Everyone's welcome to attend, and people and everyone who attends, you can learn about how it works there, but we use the same process, and everybody earns EOS and respect and NFTs according to the ranking in the process. So that's really cool. And the Eden community, quite a few of us are from the Eden community. It's very into governance, and so governing better with true democracy based off more equal animals. Dan Larimer's book, More Equal Animals, and then the Fractally White Paper, and just the process that we've been learning as we do this. So that's really cool. And then, yeah, I've also just been sharing videos. I suppose this is more contribution, so I'm not sure if this is totally here, but if anybody's interested in checking out videos from Eden Fractal, I also co-host town halls where we talk about governance with Eden every week on Sundays. And then also this discussion that we had on Monday that Dwayne hosted with the Intro to Alien Worlds, really interesting. We talked a bit about Alien Worlds, but a lot of it was just, just brainstorming about how we can empower communities, especially gaming communities like Alien Worlds, with fractal cooperation, fractal governance. So I'm really stoked about it. And sorry if that went too long, but hope that all helped and was fitting with the topic and so forth. And thank you for listening, and thank everybody for being here.
Thank you, Dan. It's lovely to meet you.
Thank you, Glenn. It's lovely to meet you as well.
So Dan,
and next? Do you want to go next, Eric?
Sure. Since I was young, I've always been excited about how do you integrate people and technology to solve our world's problems. And how do you do that? Well, the first 30 years is just kind of like, who the hell am I? What do I do? How do you do that? And then you finally get it, hopefully, just in general. And so you spend the next time getting really, really good at it. And then you reach that point where you talked in front of tens of thousands of people, you made impact on governance, and then it's kind of like, well, how do you give back? So how do you do that, give back? Well, I've started to realize, this legacy for the world and my children has been this idea of the best thing you can do is give people meaningful work and a great environment to live in while they're doing it, and meaningful relationships. So I saw that everything that I knew had been changing. The world has been changing on how you connect people, how you get meaningful work, especially in terms of multi-sided ecosystem platforms, which allow people to go out and participate. But those platforms are owned by big guys like Uber and Amazon, and they just want to suck the life out of everybody. So I went back to graduate school. I've already had 2 master's degrees and said, well, yeah, sure, another degree, why not? Wife not really excited about that decision. But so we went out and I said, I need to learn how this business and these ecosystems are going in order to give people a great environment and work and relationships that matter. And the big thing that always comes down is looking at history. When I looked at that, is somebody always stealing, taking the game, learning it. As soon as it's predictable, people get really good. So you get that 1 or 2% that gets really good at exploiting everything and controlling. So you can't do that without governance. And so I started looking at the governance part. Anybody that's known ecosystem platforms, these software platforms that roll out, the whole key to that is governance. If you make it too strict, the thing dies. If you make it too loose, it goes crazy and people quit anyway. So it started on my idea, this ecosystem governance, on how do you do that? And that came into this idea of, well, let's see if we can build real communities. Physical, virtual, also really cool, physical to virtual, virtual to physical. So that's what my doctoral work is, gone open. So I'm open to any ideas on what I can do. I need to, in about 3 or 4 months, pin down what I'm actually going to propose specifically to do. And I hope this is in that realm. But in addition to do that, I'm really passionate about helping other people clarify what we're doing and get the word out. So for example, this week, I put this out to everybody, you know, especially reaching people that don't have the latest technology, kind of the far parts of that, getting that in. So I reached out to one of my friends who runs a show, and I was on, we were talking about virtual reality, but I had talked to about alien worlds and governance and all that on the show. And then afterwards I talked to him and said, how about a fractally show, and how about an alien worlds show? Would you do that? And he said, sure. I'll set it up, we'll stream it. It also streams live over Pod TV. So we're good to go. If we want to have a show, we can actually set that up, and it's just a bunch of conversations. You can see those conversations on YouTube on the World Economic Talent Forum. But I'll post that link later. So Cone Man, give us the news from Brighton.
Hey, I mean, it's been lovely and sunny lately, so that's the news. Not much else to tell. Seagulls are still screaming at 3 in the morning. Yeah, so hey everyone, I'm Cone Man. If you don't know me, I started off as a player of Alien Worlds to begin with, and just got involved with the community to the point that eventually was hired by them because they needed extra assistance from the people who knew the game the best. So we started off like that. And then I learned about governance pretty early on and put my name down for one of the Planet's fellas, just because I was really excited with the prospect of helping people push governance forward, make proposals, enact them, and make the space even better. And that's come with a lot of challenges as well, because obviously we released the DAO news about, it has to be about a year ago now, and it's not here yet, although it is coming soon. There's been, you know, people expect these things to come out instantly when they're being talked about, but I think the point of it always was to get people talking about it and get geared up for the future when there will be systems in place. So that's what we're looking at right now. And obviously along the way, we've helped shape a lot of those discussions by getting people to think about why governance, what would they do, how would they enact things, and provide integrity to that. So yeah, I mean, really, that's where we are right now. We're still in that sort of early stage, but I think ƒractal is a really good example of what can be. Trying to think what else. Really, like a lot of my work in the past year has been with communities, helping them flourish. What do they need to succeed? And I think that leads in perfectly into a governance structure, because a lot of us have worked together to provide value to the community via drops and mining events. We've started to think about what we would do with the planetary funds and how we would best provide value around. Yeah, that's it really.
Sounds great.
You can go next. Yeah, thanks so much for sharing. I started in EOS for the governance. I've been part of a lot of cooperatives where I found that we were burdened with not being good moderators, not having distance separate us from being in person to make the right decisions, not enough, accountants and lawyer, abilities in our little forums of cooperatives. And yeah, we were, kind of the first to use the EOS DAC stack for governance, and just been passionate about it for a long time in my own businesses, of seeing what could have been done better to govern our companies or our cooperatives. One book that really rang out in the early days of EOS, and it might have been just at the same time, was A Radically Beneficial World by Charles Hugh Smith. And kind of the whole DAC or DAO premise that a circular economy, where we're all shareholders of what we're passionate about, and that the real thing, like Eric said, that we need is meaningful work. Everyone has something meaningful, and if we can match, or everyone likes to, we need something meaningful, and even saying it's work is funny, but if those two can join up, what a more happy world we'd have. I participated in the Eden election, and reminder that that's coming up this week. So that was kind of the first step down this ƒractal process, and then obviously just setting up this forum for us to discuss. It's I'm repeating myself. I'm sure you all know that we've been having this Crown kind of governance talk for many years. So it's nice to see that we can continue it with some more tools, and then a lot more opportunities, like Marco mentioned, the whole GameFi and the opportunities in front of us. And then really bringing it down to local groups. I'm on the end road of a 10-minute path, which doesn't seem too long, but just seeing what I've been able to help out on governance, on everyone feeling equitable on what they contribute to keeping this road up. It's a private road, and how does the person with the biggest bank account have equity to the guy that can only afford a bit, the local, and still get a road built. So yeah, I think that's about it. The I guess just task this week was trying to make sure that we kind of fit in with the gamification of ƒractal, and using the Wax blockchain to do some NFTs, and I just finished that by backing those as well with Trillium and Crown. So I'm pretty excited about that little endeavor. And I do agree with Coneman that some of the other options for this group to get some more eyes on us would be to provide some other tools to the community. So that could be in the form of a piece of land where we give out some of those dividends back to people, or the tools that we can provide to allow other community members to drop onto players. So we've already spearheaded, and I'm willing, as a community member and in the sake of building consensus and this larger network, to roll those in and contribute. So it's probably a discussion for later, but that would be some of my future contributions. I know we're talking about past ones, but yeah, I'll leave it at that, and I'll pass it over to Mark.
Awesome. Yeah, so I think we're all in a
similar boat here with when it comes to say what we've done for alien worlds. We've pushed that to the side and made it more of a background and exploratory. And in that spirit, I'll say that what I think connects all of us, maybe not. I'd rather say what connects, I think, most of us, the folks that are involved, like with Fractally, maybe in Eden, is, and I want to I think coin the, I'm trying to clarify myself, and I like good buzzwords. And are we working on the centralization of decentralization? So I think that might be what's going on here, because you dig in deep enough and you realize, well, we're all very interested in how to manage our awesome blockchains. And you start realizing, well, that means how to control them, how to organize as a community that uses them. So we're learning the answers to those questions. Yeah, we're a community that uses that decentralization function. And so when we see the decentralization function in extreme, we realize there's no movement. It's just well distributed. So I think the Fractally and Eden and the kind of rabbit hole lineup for participation in what is turning into our general identities as a community is the centralization function of decentralization that already holds such a buzzword. So now that we have these great blockchains, how do we manage them? As far as why I'm in this meeting, it's because of that. I'm looking at like a spinoff of Fractally. I'm learning a lot. This is a second fractal on Fractally. It's not a team. What's the difference? Where's the value? What is the emergent qualities that I would start considering maybe valuable or what have you? And that is my personal interest, is to kind of sponge up interesting information. It comes out of really good work. So all of us here, I would argue strongly that this is really good work. The secondary, do we get, quote, reimbursed for it? We don't really know, but this is definitely good work. A lot of value. So that, I think I'll stop there. And rather than getting wordy about like how that good work early on is valued and becomes a really visible product, and the kind of funding of that good work is like a missing puzzle piece. Well, it's kind of secondary. It's nice to have. Right now we just need to like create good questions over and over and over and over and over again. So thanks. I'm very happy to be able to say that. It's very helpful being here to be able to say, express that.
Well, thanks so much, Marco. I think it's off to you.
Going from Dwayne to Mark, put me back on the alien world started. I always focus on Fractally because we still don't even have the UI yet. Right, so in EOS, writing the EOS newsletter for over a year, how do I tie into WAX and alien worlds? I've written about WAX in there as EOSIO when it ties in directly to the mainnet. WAX is my favorite chain because it's functional. Let me throw this in there real quick. Without online gamers, there'd be no Bitcoin. And the next thing I saw after that is functional. If gamers were the ones that really drove currency for digital assets, then how can it not be functional? Why is this so freaking slow? So that's really why here at EOS, because it works, it's nimble, you can see it, wax is lightning fast. But more than that, it's got a whole marketplace. Liquid. So from the EOS newsletter specifically, there's a bridge that used to exist with Nudex between Wax and EOS. There's a bridge that's still going on, sort of underground in Prospectors, where you can move tokens. Similarly, there's a bridge between Alien Worlds, Wax, and Binance and stuff. So when I make comparisons with those types of bridges, I usually talk in the same terms of Prospectors and Alien Worlds. Alien Worlds being much bigger, much more mature in terms of infrastructure development and I believe guidance planning and all that. So I'm excited whenever Alien Worlds does anything because I believe that's the model. I don't think the model is Bitcoin. I don't think the model is any of the stuff that's doing it to colleges. I think all that stuff is helpful. I'm a big believer in education. I'm a bigger believer in aviation. Aviation education is different from standardized education. There's the academies have something tied. There are aviation universities, but there's something different in that the technical aspect is much more ingrained into the system, like with computer science. So there's the direct link I put in there. Now, as far as governance, well, in the sky, not on the ground, because aviation doesn't happen on the ground. No, we don't need to land. Yes, we can stay in the sky forever. Really. So how does governance happen in the sky? Well, whoever's flying. Well, what if everybody's flying? Well, then it's the PIREPs. It's about, well, where are you now and what's relevant to you now? That's important because weather happens instantly. The radar doesn't pick it up as fast as a pilot does. So if you're flying in the mountains, and this is something that the reason why aviation is ruled in the mountains is because weather changes so frequently in the mountains. So if you're not familiar with it, if you didn't grow up in the mountains, you're not going to be a governance leader when it comes to flying it because it's just a totally different environment. In that things happen fast. So who's governing this aspect or this fractal? Is fractal small enough to do that? Well, who's actively engaged, developing, or the big user at the time, the big innovator at the time? And we are quick enough to respond in that manner. So I can cut it off there, or I can go on forever. And if there's any questions, or yeah, I think I should cut off there. I'll just start going back into Atari and some of the motivations and inspirations that really just pushed right by the likes of AT&T and all that. That without it, we wouldn't have Twitter. We wouldn't have Twitter if it wasn't for MMOs needing to make online communication more fun. And the early decentralized internet ties into the ownership that the early tech guys in their personal computers put together. The guys that wanted to make it fun. And anyway, lead us, Dwayne. You started this whole thing, and Eric, that's awesome. I'd love to see what else you're digging into. When at the time, I wanted to connect blockchain to aviation for a master's thesis several years ago, and the earliest one I could find was medical communities were one of the first ones, medical research in blockchain, and I really didn't have enough info to tie in the airline miles or the rewards into it, and hopefully now we got more than enough.
I think you muted Eric.
Yep.
still muted. I can't hear you still. I don't know if it's just me, but I don't hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear you. You're muted.
Yeah, I could see that you're changing and you're being unmuted in Zoom, but it seems like system level or something beneath the Zoom, it's not working right now.
Does that work any better?
Yep, gotcha.
All right. Yeah, I'm actually a qualified meteorologist and oceanographer. I have a master's degree, and my background is integrating these supercomputing data with decision-making enterprise out there. And I invented something called the grid data blade that allowed you to move paths through space, and it would automatically catch up with all the time and mess that up. So yeah, to test that out, though, we put a dead body in there, and you could slice it any way you want and see what somebody would look like if you sliced them. So that used to be a demo of one. So I like your aviation stuff.
Thanks, Mark, for giving us a time signal. We should get into our consensus round.
Sounds good. And by the way, Dwayne, it might be helpful for you to also do that with the breakout rooms. I don't know if you've done that, but yeah, I know you said you're going to do it when there's a couple minutes, but like saying like a 10-minute warning might be helpful as well.
Perfect. Appreciate that.
What I would like to do is creating some software. I'll just let that go back on for the recording. I'd like to create a starting base for a proposal that creates software for the ƒractal governance to give to the wider community and have the communities interact with over time. One of those would be, like we were talking about earlier with EOS USA doing a Butler NFT drop system, would be the creation of an NFT drop system of our own that uses different parameters. So one thing about EOS USA is it's been an invaluable tool for a lot of communities to use, but it's gated behind a pretty hefty cost to run, and hasn't been as popular due to that. And also it's not as easily configurable by the end user. Whereas in my grand idea, it would be a portal that you go to, you log in, you say, I want to drop these NFTs in this place. It doesn't have to be a piece of land. It could even be in a Telegram chat or a Discord chat, for example. And you say, I want to drop however many per hour, and these are the criteria that I want. One thing that we've had to do on my tenure with Alien Worlds is move away from random drops, because it's seen as gambling, and that comes with pretty heavy restrictions in the industry. So this would be a way of being able to guarantee and almost gamify, if you will, NFT drops, in the sense that the first person to post a specific keyword in a chat could get the NFT drop to them. The first person to mine on a select piece of land on the hour or on the half an hour mark, just as an example, would get that NFT. So it creates this sort of gamified cycle where people can go out, earn their NFTs, be participating in either the community, in mining, in whatever you want to set it as your parameters. And moving forward, that creates this sort of people come together to be able to achieve that.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think I just gave a notice for our we have to get on to consensus, but let's talk about that just after we're done, because yeah, there's a lot there that I agree with. I think for the process for us to get into consensus, I think for this week's, it's we're still a little fuzzy, as far as rating and contributions. The ƒractally meeting's quite a bit more easy. What have you done this week for ƒractally? But maybe just to start it off, I kind of like the not influencing or saying who you vote for at the, who do you think contributed to governance, merging with, I guess governance is the topic. Do you guys want to do kind of put who your top choice would be for this week in the chat, and we do a countdown, and then maybe we leave it to that. If there's consensus on who we think is, the top position, we'll leave it to them to do the same. We kind of go in order to kind of not disclose and talk about who we want and just put it in the chat. Does that sound? I think it's kind of worked before for us. And let's leave out the wax names. I have everyone's wax name. We'll just do first names and keep it simple.
Can I say something that might influence it?
Oh, 100%.
I'm a big believer in the explorer theory, or the explorer thing. And since Dwayne was the one that got us here, and this is the first one I've attended, I think it's a big deal to get that on record. I didn't say it, but
yeah, the influencer. Well, hey, we
won't say anything either, but I do agree with that sentiment. But I didn't say anything. But okay, Mark just also answered the question I was going to ask. So we have 8 minutes. We're going to end at 20. So I was confused.
All right, well, let's do a countdown for first person. Let's just put the if everyone has the name ready in the chat, we'll kind of do a countdown and see if we can have consensus.
Is there any contributions anyone needs to put in, since we talked about our background, but is there anything I still don't know what some of these people have done, even though I liked everything they said as a person, but from a contribution.
Well, I've written about it.
Maybe judge their contributions by what they said. You could say, wow, they really contribute in a vague sense or in a concrete sense.
I'm also still a little bit confused about exactly what we're ranking here. So I know that we're talking about general governance and what drives us with governance and so forth. But it still is the alien world's fractal, as far as I understand. So like, I still feel like it probably makes sense to rank people who are contributing to governance with alien worlds more higher. But I'm not totally sure.
I kind of feel the same. I kind of feel the same.
First, primarily, it's who contributed to the alien worlds community, whatever that is. But that's heavy on the interests of, I think, probably the success of those people that own that token.
Okay, cool.
So there's governance in general, which comes down to alien worlds. So by the way, I got Dan Larimar confirmed to talk on the Building the Metaverse podcast. So in addition to Dwayne and Amy Hines, Dan is on board to talk about governance on our podcast. I've also got the World Talent Economy Forum. I put a link to that in there. I talked to them this week, and I talked about alien worlds and governance and more equal animals and go fractally on there. They've agreed to put together a show that we can do for alien worlds and we can do for fractally, because that reach is hard to go places.
So the Dan show and the talent economy are two different things.
Well, I've got two things: Building the Metaverse podcast, which launched in August, and I've got World Talent Economy Forum, which is on all the time right now. If you want to do it, we can set up and go.
So if everybody's ready, 2, 1, go. Somebody count us off. Be ready. I don't know how much time we got. Thanks.
We got 6 minutes.
So this is level 6, right?
Yeah, one thing I would like, before we do that, if I could have one quick little sentence from Mark and Dan on what you've done recently for governance in general, because I know that you may not have been fully integrated in the Alien Worlds framework yet, which is absolutely fine, but just so I can gauge where you're at in the whole governance participation structure, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. I'd be glad to go first. I'm active in the Fractally community, so that's and you're familiar with that, Conan? That's basically.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. Yeah.
Yeah, great. So I have a team on Fractally, to explore fractally in that way, and to contribute by obviously a feedback loop. And also that SPANCE is basically a project management, value added knowledge, like thought leadership, I suppose, and commitment, week to week. I mean, I probably touch this general governance community up to about 15 different times a week. So that would speak to the government side. Thanks. That's a good question.
Sounds great. Thanks, Mark. And then to answer Coman's question, just briefly, and thanks for asking. So quite a lot. I'm doing this basically full time as much as I can. I wrote the original proposal for Eden Fractal, and I've been funding it with 100 EOS per week. And I've been coordinating with developers to build tooling. And I've also been leading well, I don't know if leading is the right word, but I've been managing the website and social media and so forth for Eden Fractal. So I've been playing a very big role. That's the second biggest fractal in the world, I guess, in a way. And then I've also been participating in every fractal meeting that I can. I participate in all the Genesis Fractal meetings, and I'm always making presentations like this and just building relationships and so forth. And I'm also building the media outlet where I make some videos and stuff. I've made one like music video so far promoting fractal governance, and a bunch of content and a bunch of writing and stuff like that. And then also just trying to help out Dwayne and everybody as much as possible with this and just fractals stuff in general.
It's fantastic. Thank you ever so much.
And
Thank
as a group member, I recommend a real rapid consensus process starting now.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Everyone put their top name in there.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right. We've got consensus.
Now for 5.
For number 5. Does everyone have their name in there?
I'm ready.
Everyone ready? Yeah.
Yep.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. We have not much consensus. I'd be happy. I was between Eric and Coneman, so if it helps us reach consensus, then I'd be happy to change my rank to my vote to Coneman.
Anybody else want to change their?
Yeah, my reason for Coneman is he's bridging both worlds. He's done a lot for governance and in the game, and has been active here as well. So I thought that was my reasoning.
Coneman, if you accept, we'll have consensus on 5 and move on.
I'd be happy to accept. Thank you very much.
Next level, 3, 2, 1.
Like EIC or okay, 4, Eric has it.
All right, everyone's ready for the next one. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. It looks like we're.
I just changed the mark. So yeah.
Mark has 4. Okay, cool. Mark's good. I was also thinking of voting for Mark too, but I voted for myself really quickly, but I'm happy to vote for Mark.
All right. Next one, everyone ready? 3, 2, 1.
I'll change mine to Dan. That's 4.
Okay.
I think we got it.
Oh, guys,
That was
I
quick and
appreciate
efficient.
the very efficient, and I really got a lot of value of everyone, spending more time on the upfront. I'm just going to copy our list, and let's just do one more consensus that we're all in agreement of this list.
We don't need the addresses.
No, I've got to have that. I have it in the background, so this will be fine. And I record the chat, so if you do have your, it looks like everyone has a wax address and brackets, so I can scrape it from there. Yeah. All right, I'm just going to give the room a 1 minute, even though we're 1 minute past. Breakout room. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. I'll take us back to the main room here.
Yeah, thanks everybody. It was a great meeting.
Yeah, it's been lovely meeting you all, and thank you ever so much for sharing your contributions.
Yeah, great meeting. Thank you. Great breakout
Yeah.
room. Thank you.
Absolutely.